The rain poured mercilessly that evening as Ethan Donovan, one of New York's youngest billionaires, pushed open the door to a small, dimly lit diner on the corner of Fifth Avenue. He wasn't supposed to be there. His usual routine involved upscale restaurants and private chefs. But something about the quiet, almost forgotten place pulled him in. Maybe it was the way his mind ached from business deals and fake smiles, or how his heart weighed heavy with loneliness despite his wealth. As he stepped inside, the warmth wrapped around him, and the smell of freshly brewed coffee filled the air. His eyes scanned the room, and that's when he saw her, Claire Bennett. She moved between tables with an effortless grace, her auburn hair pulled into a messy bun, and a tired but genuine smile on her face as she served the handful of late-night customers. Ethan took a seat by the window, where raindrops raced down the glass. Claire approached him, her eyes reflecting curiosity and kindness. "Coffee?" she asked with a soft, welcoming smile. "Yes, please," Ethan replied, slightly caught off guard by how soothing her voice sounded. She poured the coffee without another word, but Ethan couldn't help but notice the way her hands trembled slightly when she set the cup down. Her uniform was worn and frayed, and dark circles rimmed her eyes, but she still maintained that resilient smile. "What brings you here on a night like this?" Claire asked, wiping down the table next to him. "Just needed a change of scenery," Ethan replied, his gaze lingering on her for a moment too long. Claire gave a small, understanding nod. "Yeah, sometimes a new place helps clear the mind." Over the next hour, Ethan found himself sipping his coffee slowly, just to watch her work and catch glimpses of her laugh as she interacted with regulars. Something about her presence made the chaos in his mind quiet down. When the diner emptied out, Claire sat at the counter to take a breath, unaware that Ethan was still observing her. "You always work this late?" he asked, making her jump slightly. "Oh yeah, double shift today," she said, forcing a smile. "Gotta make ends meet." "Sounds tough." "It is," she admitted, her smile faltering for the first time. "But it's life, you know. Gotta keep moving forward." The next few nights, Ethan found himself returning to the diner, always greeted by Claire's warm smile. They talked more about life, dreams, and regrets. She told him about her struggles, how she had lost her parents in a car accident 2 years ago and had been left to care for her younger brother, Dylan. Working double shifts was the only way she could pay rent and keep Dylan in school. Ethan never revealed his true identity, just introduced himself as Ethan, a businessman. He didn't want the weight of his wealth to change how she saw him. One night, as they sat at the counter after closing, Claire confessed, "Sometimes I wonder if I'll ever get out of this cycle, working non-stop and barely scraping by." Ethan hesitated, fighting the urge to offer her money. Instead, he said, "You deserve more, Claire. You're stronger than most people I know." Claire smiled softly, brushing away a tear. "Thanks. Sometimes I just need to hear that." Weeks turned into months, and their bond grew. Ethan couldn't help but fall in love with her resilience and kindness. One evening, as the sun set behind the city skyline, Ethan finally decided to tell her the truth. "Claire, there's something you should know," he began, his voice uncertain for the first time. "I'm not just a businessman. I'm the CEO of Donovan Enterprises." Claire froze, her eyes widening. "You're the billionaire? The one always in the news?" He nodded, bracing himself for her reaction. Claire looked down, her expression hurt. "You lied to me. I didn't want my wealth to define how you saw me. You're the first person who's treated me like just a man," Ethan explained desperately. She swallowed hard, fighting back emotions. "Why didn't you trust me enough to tell me? I was afraid you'd see me differently, or push me away." Claire took a deep breath. "You know, I never needed your money. I just needed someone to believe in me." After a tense silence, Ethan promised her honesty from that moment on. Slowly, Claire forgave him, but things were never quite the same. Ethan couldn't stand seeing her struggle, so he came up with a plan. One morning, Claire received a letter in the mail, an acceptance letter to a prestigious culinary school. Confused, she checked the sender and found Ethan's name on it. When she confronted him, he smiled. "I know how much you love cooking. Let me help you chase your dream. It's a scholarship, no strings attached," he said gently. Claire's eyes filled with tears as she realized he wasn't trying to buy her love. He was giving her an opportunity. She finally accepted, and as months passed, she excelled at the culinary academy. Eventually, Claire opened her own restaurant, and Ethan stood by her side, not as a billionaire, but as the man who believed in her. Their relationship blossomed, built on trust, honesty, and a love that endured despite the odds. The grand opening of Claire's restaurant was packed, and as Ethan raised a toast to her success, he whispered, "You never needed saving, Claire. You just needed someone to remind you how strong you are." With a smile brighter than the city lights, Claire kissed him, grateful not just for the opportunity, but for the man who saw her heart before her struggle. Moral: true love sees beyond wealth and status. It sees the strength within and nurtures it with honesty and unwavering support.